With my parents gone, I believe my fiancée was the only person in the world who truly loved me. So, when she cheated, I forgave her. When she wanted a luxury bag, I took out a loan to buy it. When she spent the night in a hotel room with another man, I pretended not to know. And when I won $100 million in the lottery, I planned to give it all to her as a wedding gift. But then, to my utter shock, I discovered I wasn't the groom at my own wedding. She thought I would forgive her again. Instead, I just walked away, quietly, with my $100 million ticket. Later, she would kneel and beg for my forgiveness, but by then, it was far too late. Honey, where are you? Don't tell me you forgot. Hanjiang Hotel, room 803. Hurry up, and don't forget the condoms. The message from my fiancée, Chloe, was the first I'd heard from her in 3 days. A thrill, mixed with a little shyness, shot through me. She had finally cooled down. She wanted to give herself to me the night before our wedding. Wait for me, my love. I'm on my way. I texted back, my fingers trembling with excitement. I grabbed the winning lottery ticket, and on my way out, I stopped at the corner store for a box of condoms and her favorite hot snacks. Today was a perfect day. One moment, I was $100 millionaire, and the next, Chloe and I had reconciled. It felt like the heavens were sending me a dowry. I decided I would transfer every last cent to her. With this money, she'd never be angry about not affording a designer bag again. The $1 million online loan she'd racked up could be paid off in an instant. I couldn't wait to see her and share the incredible news. Blinded by love, I didn't stop to think. She had never mentioned meeting at a hotel tonight, so why was she suddenly rushing me to get there? As I reached the door of room 803, something felt wrong. The sounds coming from inside, they sounded disturbingly like Chloe. No, it couldn't be. Our wedding was tomorrow. Chloe wouldn't do this to me. She must be watching a movie while she waited for me. I couldn't let myself doubt her. That had to be it. I convinced myself, though my hand hesitated before knocking. It's here. Just leave it at the door. What's with all the knocking? You need me to inspect the delivery before you leave. A man's voice. A wave of cold dread washed over me. No, Chloe loved me. She had loved me for 8 years. This had to be a misunderstanding. I had to trust her. When the door opened, a bare-chested man stood there. I recognized him, though we weren't friends. I'd seen him shopping with Chloe once, acting far too familiar. When I'd asked her about it, she said he was a client from her company, and her boss had asked her to help him pick out a gift. She had turned on me then, her voice sharp. Are you doubting me? After everything? I love you, and you don't trust me. I had apologized profusely, hating myself for questioning her. She'd stayed angry for a long time, refusing to see me until I transferred the last property my parents left me into her name. The memory of her hurt had pained me for weeks, and I vowed to never mistrust her again. From that day on, my faith in her was absolute. Even when she stayed out all night, if she said she was with friends, I believed her. I had to believe her now. Pushing past the man's protests, I burst into the room, desperate to prove my fears wrong. But I wasn't wrong. Chloe was lying naked on the bed, her skin covered in red marks. Her eyes widened in shock when she saw me. Liam, what are you doing here? You texted me, I said, trying to smile, but my voice cracked. Hanjiang Hotel, room 803. You said to bring condoms. He must have tricked you. I stammered, my voice thick with unshed tears as I reached for her hand. Let's go home. Chloe, please, let's just go home. Tomorrow was our wedding. After my parents died in high school, I had no family left. Chloe was the one who promised to give me a home. Tomorrow, we would finally be a family. A home I had waited 8 years for. This man must have deceived her. I wouldn't let him destroy my home. A primal rage I didn't know I possessed surged through me. I lunged at the man, a single punch sending him sprawling to the floor. If it weren't for the wedding tomorrow, I would have gladly broken every bone in his body. He struggled, but he was no match for my fury. It wasn't until he coughed up blood that Chloe finally snapped out of her shock. Liam, stop it. For the first time, I ignored her. The man groaned in pain. Chloe, get this psycho off me. His cry spurred her into action. She rushed forward and wrapped her arms around me. Not wanting to hurt her, I stopped. Liam, listen to me, she whispered, holding me tight. You've misunderstood. We were just playing a game of dares. A game of dares? Did she think I was an idiot? A profound sadness settled over me as I looked at her, saying nothing. Liam, I love you so much. How could I ever do anything to hurt you? This is all a terrible mistake. Tomorrow we get married. We become a family. You have to believe me. A family? Yes. After 8 long years, I was finally going to have a family again. I forced myself to push away the doubts, to ignore the ugly, naked truth in front of me. Okay, I said, my voice hollow. I believe you, Chloe. Let's go home. We need to get ready for the wedding. I helped her get dressed, ready to take her away from this place. Liam, why don't you go home first? She said, avoiding my eyes. My best friend is coming to meet me. It's my last night before the wedding. I want to spend it with her. I didn't want to leave her, my grip on her hand tightening. Be good, Liam, she coaxed. You promised you would always trust me. Go home. I have a surprise for you tomorrow. If you don't leave, you'll make me sad. The thought of causing her more pain was unbearable. I relented. Okay, I'll go. I have a gift for you tomorrow, too. I know you'll love it. I felt the lottery ticket in my pocket, remembering her ecstatic reactions to the designer bags, the gold bracelets, the house. This would be the ultimate gift. I grabbed the man by the collar, intending to drag him out. Liam, where are you taking him? Chloe asked, a note of panic in her voice. I'm just showing him out, I said smoothly. Can't have him disturbing you and your friend, right? Her smile was strained. Right. So thoughtful. I dragged the man, ignoring his struggles, out of the hotel. Once outside, I slammed my fist into his gut. If you ever touch my fiancée again, I hissed, I'll make sure you can't walk. He curled into a ball, gasping. Liam, you'll pay for this. I'm counting on it, I sneered. After he staggered away, I went home and pulled out the old love letter Chloe had written to me years ago, the one that had convinced me of her love when I was at my lowest. Reading her words, I let the doubt wash away. She had loved me since high school. She would never betray me. It had to have been a misunderstanding. On the wedding day, I was ushered into the groom's dressing room early. The makeup artist seemed to take an eternity. As the clock ticked on, a knot of anxiety tightened in my stomach. I urged him to hurry. A voice message from Chloe came through. Don't rush, Liam. Take your time. This is the most important day. I want to see you looking your absolute best. The wedding. It was the most important moment of my life, the moment Chloe and I would officially become family. Her message calmed me. Sir, I said to the makeup artist, my apologies. Please just make me look presentable, but could you speed it up a little? I'm anxious to see my bride. He smiled and nodded, yet the minutes dragged on. With every brushstroke, I felt like I was being made to look worse, not better. A strange, unsettling feeling grew inside me. I tried to tell myself to trust his professional judgment, just as Chloe kept messaging me to do, but my heart pounded with a sense of impending loss. It was 11:58 a.m. The ceremony was about to begin. That's enough. I'm done, I declared, standing up. I had to make sure Chloe was okay. She was the only thing I had left to lose. No rush, Mr. Groom. There's still plenty of time, the artist said, trying to block my path. Plenty of time? He knew the ceremony started at noon. Something was terribly wrong. I shoved his hand away and ran for the door, not noticing him swipe one last, grotesque stroke of makeup across my face. The door was locked. Was this that man's revenge? Was he planning to hurt Chloe? She was my only family. No one could harm her. Fueled by a mix of fury and fear, I kicked the door open and sprinted towards the main hall. I wouldn't let anyone destroy my home. To the beautiful bride, do you take Julian to be your lawfully wedded husband? I burst through the doors to that scene. The officiant was already at the vows. The wedding portrait hanging above them was a beacon of happy deceit. The groom had been replaced. So his name was Julian. It didn't matter who he was. He wasn't taking my Chloe. I object, I warned. The entire hall fell silent. Every head turned towards me. Chloe flinched. Then a strange, knowing smile touched her lips. Julian just smirked, a look of petty triumph on his face. The groom is still here, I announced, striding down the aisle. How can the wedding have started without me? Who, exactly, is my bride making her vows to? Chloe immediately put on a tearful performance. Honey, she began, but then she reached out and clasped Julian's hand. I knew he wouldn't let me go, she sobbed to the crowd. My crazy ex just can't accept that it's over. I didn't care that he had no parents, no car, no house. But then he started gambling, borrowing from loan sharks. I did everything for him, she wailed. I even gave him my parents' savings to pay his debts, and it still wasn't enough. Now he's crashing my wedding to ruin my life. Why is this happening to me? The guests erupted in murmurs, their eyes shooting daggers of judgment at me. My soon-to-be mother-in-law began weeping dramatically to the people at her table. Julian wrapped an arm around Chloe, looking at me with pure contempt. Don't worry, my love. I just got a call from the loan company. They'll be here any minute to take him away. Chloe buried her face in his chest, but her eyes, filled with a mix of guilt and venom, met mine. I was going to let you go, Liam, she whispered, just loud enough for me to hear. I was just going to have them put a couple of sleeping pills in your drink. But you had to hit Julian yesterday. He's a powerful man. You can't just attack someone like him. Consider this citywide humiliation a small price to pay. No house. No car. I transferred everything to you. My parents left me with millions. The online loan. That was for the luxury bags you had to have after you'd already bled my inheritance dry. And when did we break up? Why wasn't I informed? Chloe, how could you spew such effortless lies? Simply because you knew I loved you? She continued to fabricate my supposed failings, and the crowd, eating up the drama, began broadcasting the scene live. Just then, a group of burly men pushed their way into the hall. The debt collectors had arrived. It felt like there was no escape. 8 years of love meant nothing compared to the allure of a rich heir. Well, I wondered, how does my 100 million stack up against him? I snatched the microphone from the officiant. Broke up? Chloe, you didn't mention anything about breaking up last night when I caught you in bed with him. How is it that I went from your fiancé to a gambling, debt-ridden ex-boyfriend overnight? You could have at least sent me a memo. The hall exploded. Caught in bed. This is juicy. Wow, that woman is pure evil. To frame her own man like that. Folks, you're getting the live scoop right here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Chloe shot up from Julian's embrace, her face contorted with rage. Liam, are you insane? Are you trying to make me hate you? Tell them you're lying. Tell them right now, or I will never, ever forgive you. Her expression was so entitled, so familiar. It was the same look she had in high school when she copied my exam, got caught because our mistakes were identical, and cried until I agreed to take the blame. The same look she had when she stole and ruined her mother's designer bag and begged me to say I did it. I replaced the bag and bought her several more. The same look she had after a drunk driving hit and run when she begged me to take the fall. I paid a fortune to settle it privately. I had given her so much, she believed there was nothing I wouldn't do for her. She thought that even after she had betrayed me and shattered my world, I would still forgive her, still protect her. You've got to be kidding me, Chloe. I strode to the laptop controlling the projector and began playing my own files. The chat logs, the video I had recorded last night. I had originally intended to use the footage for a romantic montage of our life together, something to watch when we were old. Now, it was my only defense. The sounds from the hotel room filled the hall, followed by my knock. The image of a naked Julian opening the door flashed on the screen. I hit pause. That was enough. As much as she had hurt me, I couldn't bring myself to show the rest. Security. Get him out of here. Chloe shrieked. Then she pointed at the debt collectors. You're here for the money, right? What are you waiting for? Grab him before he runs. She turned desperately to Julian. Honey, you're from a powerful family. Make your people stop him. The powerful family. They couldn't even afford their own wedding venue. They were using the one I had booked and paid for. They couldn't be that rich. Seeing that I had stopped the video, Chloe shot me a triumphant look. A look that said, I knew you still loved me. It made me sick. She and Julian watched with glee as the debt collectors stormed the stage, certain I was about to be dragged away and broken. The lead collector, a mountain of a man, ignored me and turned to her, waving a thick club. Chloe, about the 5 million you owe our company. When were you planning on paying it back? 5 million. The original loan was 1 million. The interest was criminal, but it had nothing to do with me. When Chloe had pressured me into taking the loan for her shopping sprees, I had refused to use my own ID, worried it would affect my credit and my chances of getting a stable government job, my late father's wish for me. So, I used hers. I figured since I was supporting her completely, and she had no career of her own, her credit score was irrelevant. I never told her. The loan was due yesterday, but with all my assets in her name, I had no way to pay. The lottery win was a miracle, but in the chaos, I had forgotten all about it. Now, it seemed, I wouldn't have to waste my money on her after all. What? I owe you money? You've got the wrong person. The one who owes you is Liam. Go get him. Chloe shrieked, pointing a shaking finger at me. Oh yeah. The man grunted, holding up a document. Loan taken out under the name and ID of one Chloe. You plan on skipping out on this? I had saved copies of her ID from all the property transfers. Liam, you used my ID to take out a loan? What kind of man are you? She screamed at me, then turned back to the collectors, her voice turning pleading. Sirs, it was really him who took the money. It has nothing to do with me. The head collector glanced at me, a look of grudging admiration in his eyes. Kid, you gonna pay this for her? You're a real glutton for punishment, huh? Don't mock me, sir, I said with a weary sigh. I've been through enough. I looked at Chloe. And you're not exactly losing out. That money bought you a closet full of luxury goods. I even kept the receipts in case you wanted to make a return. And you dare say I have nothing? My parents left me $8 million in 3 properties, and you spent every last dime. You have the nerve to call me poor. You two deserve each other. Have a wonderful life. Mom, Dad, I'm so sorry. I thought I was entrusting our family's future to your daughter-in-law. I didn't realize she was a wolf. Chloe, you can figure out how to pay that debt yourself. I clutched the lottery ticket in my pocket and turned to leave, needing to find a place to lick my wounds. Liam, you bastard. Chloe's voice screeched behind me. You set me up? No wonder your parents died. You're a pathetic loser nobody could ever love. Her words were a slap in the face. A moment later, a glass of champagne followed, splashing across my cheek. Her mother rushed forward to block my exit, terrified I would leave them with the debt. I wiped my face, grabbed a fresh bottle of champagne from a waiter's tray, and marched back. You can insult me, but you don't talk about my parents. Unseen by me, the live streams were exploding. Comments morphed from "he's so ugly, I wouldn't tolerate him for any amount of money," to "wait, wipe that off. Damn, he's handsome. Kiss me, handsome stranger." Amidst the chaos, I finally walked out of the hotel and into my new life. My lawyer informed me that while it would be difficult to recover the money I'd spent on her family over the years, the engagement gifts, including the house, were legally returnable. All told, I could probably get back around $2 million. It was a pittance compared to what I'd lost, but it was something. I instructed him to file the lawsuit. I would donate every recovered penny to charity rather than let them keep it. Her insistence on having the wedding before legally registering the marriage suddenly made perfect sense. She never intended to marry me at all. At least it saved me the trouble of a divorce. With everything in legal hands, I decided to wait before cashing the lottery ticket. The last thing I needed was for them to come after my winnings. For now, I just went back to work. Liam, my man, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Let's go out and celebrate your freedom, my colleague, Mark, said, grabbing me as soon as the workday ended. Our group of friends practically carried me out of the office. It was good to have brothers I could count on. Downstairs, Chloe was waiting, wearing the white dress I used to love. Liam, why haven't you been answering my messages? She demanded, as if nothing had happened. Her sheer audacity was disorienting. I've been busy with work, I mumbled automatically. Taking my mild tone as a good sign, she grabbed my arm. Liam, the debt collectors won't leave my family alone. Please, you have to pay them. You're the one who borrowed the money. I borrowed it. You spent it. Go ask your husband to pay for it. And speaking of money, has my lawyer contacted you? I want my $6 million engagement gifts back, and I want them back now. Her face hardened instantly. Liam, have you no shame? What kind of man asks for gifts back from a woman? You're not getting a thing. And if you don't pay this debt, every time those thugs harass me, I'm going to come here and harass you at your job. You spent 3 houses and $8 million. You have the nerve to ask me for more money? Isn't your husband some rich heir? Go bother his family. I tried to walk away with Mark, but she yanked me back. Liam, are you going to pay this or not? I should tell you, the company you work for belongs to Julian's family. If you don't help me, you can kiss your job goodbye. In fact, you can kiss your entire career in this city goodbye. I doubted that. Our firm was a subsidiary of the massive Sterling Corporation. If Julian was really that powerful, he wouldn't let Chloe beg me for money. Darling, what's taking so long? Julian appeared from around the corner. Liam, this $5 million was your loan. Be smart. Pay it off. Give me a formal apology and compensate me with another $1 million for my troubles. Otherwise, you can get out of my family's company. He wanted an apology for cheating on me? I slapped him hard across the face. There's your apology. Want another one? I slapped him again with my other hand. Chloe shrieked with concern for him. Julian's eyes burned with hatred. You just wait, he snarled, before storming into my office building. What a lunatic. I took Mark and the guys to a bar. Tonight, everything is on me, I announced. Drink whatever you want. With $100 million waiting for me, the few thousand in my bank account felt like pocket change. My friends cheered and dove onto the dance floor. I stayed at the bar, nursing a drink. A young woman with bright, curious eyes and skin as smooth as porcelain slid onto the stool next to me. Liam, this is great. You finally got dumped. She was stunningly beautiful, but her words were razor sharp. Before I could respond, she kept going. I was so close to trying to break you two up myself, but my parents told me not to be a homewrecker. Now I don't have to be. This is perfect. She tilted her head, looking as proud as a Persian cat. I was both amused and confused. Do I know you? A homewrecker? For me? Of course you know me. I'm Zoe. I had a huge crush on you in high school, but you were 2 years ahead of me. One time, my period came early, and it was a disaster. Everyone was laughing. But you took off your jacket and gave it to me. I tried to find you after to get your number, but you were gone. It took me forever to find you again, and you're still just as kind. Her words flooded back a forgotten memory. I saw you once, she continued, standing in the hot sun, waiting in a long line to buy her a milk tea while she sat in the shade playing on her phone. I'm telling you now, you're going to buy me milk tea too. But I'll hold an umbrella for you. I won't just sit there. I did remember that. I had rushed from one end of the city to the other on my lunch break to buy her a specific duck dish she was craving. Over 8 years, I had done countless things like that, standing in lines, running errands in the sun and rain. She had never once waited with me. Had she ever truly loved me? The question echoed in my mind as I drank more. The alcohol seemed to be affecting her more than me, though. She clung to my arm, insisting I take her to that same milk tea shop tomorrow. Zoe, I have to work tomorrow. Can't you just order a delivery? She started to pout, acting like a spoiled kitten. Just then, my phone rang. It was my boss. Liam, Mr. Sterling's son, is insisting I fire you. I tried to reason with him, but he's the boss's kid. My hands are tied. The good news is, I'm giving you the maximum severance package. He lowered his voice. What did you do to piss him off? I heard he's trying to blacklist you from the entire industry. Julian, you just had to push it. It's one thing for me to want to quit, but another for you to get me fired. Mr. Davis, thank you. But he doesn't deserve an apology from me. By the way, I haven't seen any news about Mr. Sterling finding his long-lost son. Are you sure Julian is who he says he is? Our company's ultimate owner, the wealthiest man in the city, had his son kidnapped as a child. It wasn't that I didn't want him to find his son, but Julian's slimy demeanor didn't exactly scream billionaire heir. Apparently, he had photos with Mr. Sterling and his personal contact information, but I was still suspicious. After I hung up, Zoe's face lit up. You got fired? That means you're free to get milk tea with me tomorrow, and we can see a movie and have a candlelight dinner. Always straight to the point, that one. Her brutal honesty was strangely charming. Liam, have you seen what Julian is capable of now? Chloe's voice cut in. She and Julian had materialized in front of us. If you don't, find a way to pay that $5 million and give us another $2 million for our emotional distress, you'll never work in this city again. As she spoke, I saw Julian's eyes widen with appreciation as he looked at Zoe. Almost instinctively, I stepped in front of her. Inflation's hitting fast, huh? I scoffed. Work? You think I care about that job? I work myself to the bone, day and night, to buy you your stupid luxury items. I'm done with it. Tomorrow, I'm leaving to travel the world. And you? I said, looking at Chloe. You better pay back that loan before your credit is shot. Your billionaire boyfriend here doesn't seem to love you that much if he won't even cover a small debt for you. I saw a flash of insecurity in Julian's eyes. I was right. You don't know anything, Chloe snapped. This is a test from his parents. If he can succeed in his own startup this year without their money, he'll be named the next chairman of Sterling Corporation. What would a broke loser like you know? Can't even find a job, and you're talking about traveling the world? Honey, isn't that hilarious? She cackled, a harsh, unpleasant sound. Zoe stepped in front of me, spreading her arms like a protective mother hen. Don't you dare laugh at him. So what if he doesn't have a job? My monthly allowance is $80,000. I'll give him $50. And he wants to travel the world? My family owns an airline. I'll fly him wherever he wants to go. Now get lost, you two adulterous monsters. After her tirade, she grabbed my half-finished drink and flung it in their faces. Julian, ever the gentleman, raised his hand to slap her. I caught his wrist, twisting it until he winced, and used my free hand to smack him again. You hit women, Julian? What kind of man are you? Since you're such a big shot heir, you and your girlfriend should probably scrape together that money soon. Wouldn't want to be banned from taking the high-speed train, now would you? Pathetic. Waiter, the check. I grabbed Zoe's hand, and we walked out. You were so cool back there, standing up for me, she chirped, her eyes shining. So, we're traveling the world tomorrow? Is this our honeymoon? Her gaze was intoxicating, the way she had shielded me. It had been a long time since anyone had done that. After my parents died, it was always me taking care of others. I had taken care of Chloe for 8 years, giving her all my money and energy, only for her to grow distant and cheat. I was starting to suspect she had only pursued me for my parents' money in the first place. "Stop daydreaming," she said, pulling me along. "We're going shopping. Then tomorrow, we're off to Greece to see the Aegean Sea." Her laughter was like music. The past didn't matter anymore. All that mattered was the future, and maybe, just maybe, she was it. While Zoe and I traveled, I hired a private investigator to dig into Julian's background. Traveling together was the perfect way to get to know each other. Zoe could be sharp-tongued and a little mischievous, but her love was fierce and warm, like the sun. Unlike Chloe, who only ever took, Zoe gave. She genuinely took care of me. After so many years, I finally felt what it was like to be cared for by family again. I was planning to confess my feelings to her, but just before our trip ended, she beat me to it. "Liam, I've liked you for years. Will you be my boyfriend? I'll be good to you, and my parents will love you." She looked up at me with wide, hopeful eyes, like a puppy waiting for a treat. I was chiding myself for letting a girl make the first move when her expression turned anxious. That Chloe was so plain and poor, and you were willing to marry her. "I'm so much better, and you won't even be my boyfriend? Fine, then I'll just be your sugar mama. It's not like they're going to let you get a job anyway." I couldn't help but laugh. "I never said no, Mississippi. It would be my honor to be your boyfriend. And if you want to be my sugar mama, I accept that offer too. They can't stop me from working because I don't need to. Let's go. We have a prize to collect." We officially became a couple and posted it online. Chloe was furious. "Liam, you're off traveling with that tramp? Don't you love me anymore? You promised you would always take care of me. You just left me with this lone mess? You call that love? Liam, answer me. Are you even a man?" I replied coldly. "I loved you. I don't love being cheated on. Do not contact me again," and blocked her. As soon as we landed, the PI's report came in. It was just as I suspected. Julian wasn't the son of the Sterling family. He was the son of their chauffeur. He used his father's position to snag a few photos with Mr. Sterling, which he then used to scam people from less prominent wealthy families. He would use the money he scammed to build his image and attract a rich girlfriend. Unfortunately for him, he'd misjudged Chloe, who had also been faking her wealth with the money she got from me. It turned out they were a perfect match after all. The investigator included some recent photos of them being harassed by debt collectors. I sent him a generous bonus. I took Zoe with me to the lottery commission. 100 million. "Liam, you have the best luck. You have to help me with my in-game gotcha pulls from now on," she exclaimed, her awe at the sum quickly shifting to her video games. She was truly a child of privilege. After cashing in the ticket, we gave an interview and donated 5 million to charity. The news of my winnings went viral. At the same time, Chloe, pushed to her breaking point by the debt collectors, took Julian's advice and went public with her story, painting me as a heartless villain who scammed his ex-girlfriend and ran off. Suddenly, I was public enemy number one. Chloe called me, gloating. "Liam, I told you to pay the money and get out of the city. Now you're famous nationwide. How does it feel to be hated by everyone? If you know what's good for you, you'll give me a nice big chunk of that money to say some good things about you. Maybe I'll even have Julian find a job for you." I turned to Zoe, bewildered. Does she not remember all the people who were recording at the wedding? Or the evidence I have? Does she not fear the backlash? Zoe looked equally confused. She's dumber than I am. Even I know not to tell such a huge lie in front of so many people. You could get beaten up for that. I didn't understand it either. I went on my social media account and posted all the evidence. The videos, the chat logs, the loan documents. I even offered $100 to every person who shared the post, up to a limit of 2.5 million, just to express my disbelief at their foolishness. Money talks. My clarification post shot to the top of the trending charts. Chloe's call came again. I answered, curious to hear what else she could possibly say. "Liam, how could you post that online? Are you trying to ruin me? You tried to ruin me first. Did you expect me not to fight back? It's not the same. I'm the person you love. You're supposed to go along with what I say. How dare you defy me?" she shrieked. "You don't love me anymore, do you? You need to give me the rest of that lottery money and issue a public apology to me. If you don't, I will never forgive you." Zoe, overhearing, bristled. "The person you love?" I quickly kissed her. "Don't listen to her. You're the one I love." "Chloe," I said into the phone, "I've told you before, I don't love you anymore. I'm not interested in being cheated on. And a final piece of advice. Julian is not a billionaire's son. Good luck with that. You're lying, Liam. I've seen the pictures of him with Mr. Sterling. You're just jealous that I'm going to marry into the Sterling family. You'll see. I'll have my future father-in-law destroy you. She hung up in a rage. Chloe had to sell everything she owned to barely cover her debt. Her lavish lifestyle, funded by me, was over. Her only hope was for Julian to succeed so he could inherit the Sterling fortune. Julian, meanwhile, was desperate to divorce her, but she refused to let him go. Their life, from what I heard, was chaotic and dramatic. It provided no small amount of amusement for Zoe and me. The next time we saw them was at a high-profile business gala. When word spread that the legendary Mr. Sterling himself was arriving, everyone gathered near the entrance. Julian's father, the chauffeur, opened the car door, and Mr. Sterling stepped out. Julian immediately pulled Chloe forward. "Dad," he said loudly, "I brought your daughter-in-law to see you." He was speaking to the driver, of course, but he made sure everyone else heard. It was a bold, shameless play. Zoe and I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Every head turned our way. Chloe glared at me. "Liam, show some respect. Mr. Sterling is right there." I was about to expose their whole charade. This was the moment I had been waiting for, but before I could speak, Mr. Sterling rushed past them, his eyes fixed on me. Tears were streaming down his face. "My boy," he said, his voice choked with emotion. You don't have parents, do you? You're my son, aren't you? It has to be you. My son." The entire room gasped. Julian's face went white. "Impossible," Chloe shrieked. "Mr. Sterling, you must be mistaken. His parents died a long time ago. Don't let this liar fool you." "No, I could never be mistaken," Mr. Sterling insisted, his gaze locked on me. "You look exactly like my father did at your age. And you have a small, fish-shaped birthmark on your lower back, don't you?" Before I could even process it, Zoe gasped. "He does. Liam, you have a father again." I squeezed her hand, my mind reeling. "Sir, I had parents. I think we should get a DNA test." Mr. Sterling ushered Zoe and me into his car, leaving behind a crowd of bewildered onlookers and two very panicked individuals. I knew that whatever the result, once these business leaders realized they'd been duped, Julian's life as a con artist was over. The result was unbelievable. I was his son, the sole heir to the Sterling fortune. I had been lost as a child and adopted by the couple I knew as my parents. My newfound grandparents were heartbroken to learn that their multi-billionaire grandson had lived such a hard life. In truth, my life hadn't been that bad. If it were, Chloe never would have pursued me in the first place. My biological family fired Julian's father and made a public announcement about finding me, warning everyone against imposters. Julian's already difficult life became impossible. One day, Chloe managed to corner me. "Liam, I was wrong. It was all Julian's fault. He tricked me. I only ever loved you. I was just deceived," she cried, tears streaming down her face. "Please forgive me, Liam. You love me so much, don't you?" Watching her pathetic display, I felt nothing. The last embers of whatever I had felt for her were completely extinguished. Just then, my driver pulled up with Zoe in the car. I got in without a word, and we drove away. Zoe was delighted to hear about Chloe and Julian's miserable state. "Wow, she really has terrible judgment," she mused. "To throw away a diamond for a piece of glass. I'm the smart one. I sent you a confession letter back in high school, and now look at me, the daughter-in-law of the richest man in the city. If my dad plays his cards right, maybe your dad can help him climb from number 100 on the rich list to the top 10. God, I'm brilliant," she said, preening in her compact mirror as she snuggled against me. A confession letter. The words hit me like a lightning bolt. Of course, a letter so full of sunshine and warmth, a letter that had sustained me through a decade of grief. How could it have been written by someone as vain and greedy as Chloe? All this time, I had cherished a letter from the wrong person. But it didn't matter. Everything had finally fallen into its rightful place. My family, my love, and my bright new life.